When did you start like regularly smoking weed?
Since I was like 10 years old.
The whole time you were fighting, you were regularly smoking weed?
Well, when you're a kid, your mother gives you liquor and marijuana for you, make you think that you're gonna go to sleep or something. Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
That never happened in my house.
Never, yeah.
No,
My mother was alcoholic and stuff.
Damn, that's harsh. Liquor and marijuana. See if you go to sleep.
Yeah,
It didn't work.
I don't think so.
Do you what benefits do you get out of marijuana? Like, what does it do for you?
Hey man, if I didn't, I'd have a bad day. Yeah, I'm a really moody guy without it.
Okay.
And it smooths me out. As soon as I take it, I'm a whole different person. I'm ready to go on top of my game. I'm balling.
Yeah, I feel the same way sometimes.
Tell that nigga high right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, calms me down. Do you
I'm high.
do you
And I
smoke?
like who I am when I smoke. You know what I mean? When I weed, I don't sometimes like who I am sometimes. That's just the real sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't like that guy. I want to get away from that guy.
Well, I was talking to Michael Irvin once. He was explaining to me that when children grow up in high stress environments, that their genes are wired to have a propensity towards violence. That they're if it's normal, if it's around them all the time when they're growing up and when they're in the womb. Even.
Yeah, I agree.
When their mother's under extreme stress, if they live in a bad neighborhood.
I've never been the same. I look at life different. I look at people differently. And the experience I can't even express, really. It's almost like dying and being reborn.
Yeah, I had the exact same experience. That's what it felt like to me, too. Like you stop existing. The 5-methoxys, there's two.
Tell me, what's the deal with that? What the hell's going on here?
With that? Talking about taking some hardcore drugs.
It's DMT with an oxygen molecule attached to it. So regular DMT is NN dimethyltryptamine, and then 5-methoxy dimethyltryptamine is DMT with like there's a very subtle change to the molecule, and that subtle change for some reason takes away the visuals. You've done regular DMT too, right?
Yes.
Regular DMT is rich with visuals, very strange, bright, colorful, impossible to describe visuals.
Yes, same. I'm scared.
It's inconceivable.
Inconceivable is the best way to put
it.
it.
Inconceivable.
But
I try to explain it to some people, my wife, and I don't have the words to explain it.
That's exactly what I always say. I've done a terrible job explaining it to everybody every time I've tried. It just doesn't work. But all those things, they give you perspective.
It's almost like you're dying. You're submissive. You're humble. You know what I mean? You're vulnerable, but you're invincible. Still in all. It's just that weird feeling.
But you feel like you're part of the universe. When you're separate from your ego, you realize this whole thing, you're a part of this whole thing, and this whole thing is unstoppable. It's a gigantic, huge, all-encompassing, almost like a living thing. Life.
Joan, this is what I also realized, too, after going through that experience. You realize how insignificant you are sometimes without your ego.
Yes.
You realize, wow, you're not really much that you really thought you were.
Yeah, you are and you aren't. Obviously, you are in everyday life. I mean, you go places, you have a dramatic effect on people. You mean a lot. You mean a lot to those people that you run into. You mean a lot to the people that you love and that love you. But we all do, and it's all relative. No one is irreplaceable, but everyone is special to someone or something, and at least to themselves. But we're all the same. We're all a part of this weird, crazy, gigantic organism that's the human race.
He was looking spitting on that.
All right. I see what he means on that. I see what he was trying to get at there.
Yeah.
Have your conservative values moved in one way or another? Have they?
I mean, I would say that
at all?
my personal values probably haven't shifted very much, but my political values have shifted libertarian. I mean, so I used to be a proponent of criminalization of marijuana. I'm no longer. I've been in favor of
what
decriminalization
changed that for you?
A couple of things. One was just a general sense the government sucks at everything. And the more
he's talking about if they're legalizing it. He's talking about the legal shit. Like,
I see the government.
He's talking about like, how would you call it? Like because you know how they're talking about making it legal. Remember how it's like they're pushing it through companies and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're modifying it as they do that.
Right.
It's like, and I guess people are actually seeing it now. I don't know who this Ben Shapiro nigga is.
Try to crack down on things, the more prevalent it becomes. I mean, people were dealing pot
on
my sixth
he
grade.
talks very like, he talks like he sped up.
So obviously, like
right, like
the government ought to be involved in adultery. I'm so strict. I don't think premarital sex is a good thing, right? I've been very vocal about this. I was a virgin until I was married. My wife was a virgin until she was married. I think that's a good thing.
That's
Do I
crazy.
think the government has anything to do with any of those things?
I mean, that's
No,
not
I
crazy,
don't
but
think it's any of
wow,
the
I
government's
haven't
business. It's
actually.
No, I
consumer
mean,
activity.
people said
There
they're
are no
gonna be
externalities.
virgins to their
So
marriage.
what exactly is the government getting involved
Kamari's one of them
in?
niggas, how?
And when the government gets involved in stuff, then there are externalities, right?
One of the things that I'm glad you said that, because I wanted to cover that, but you were in the middle of a rant when we were joking around about 6th and 7th graders selling pot. Don't smoke pot when you're young. You really should.
Holy shit, 6th and 7th grade. I knew people like started really young, but like these niggas are in 6th and 7th grade selling like in school. That's crazy.
But
mean,
nah, for real, like I mean, in 6th and 7th grade, I'm pretty sure those dudes plugged up with the goodies. If it wasn't drugs, bro, it was like chocolate. We would technically, if you want to be technical, when we first started, when we had to sell those chocolate bars for the school, and whoever like sold a lot got like prizes from the inner classes.
I know what you mean, yeah.
Yeah, like
it was like incentivizing high.
But
high,
then that's
friendship.
illegal now. You can't do that.
Really?
You can't sell. You can't sell things in school, like in school grounds.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
No, I mean like I know our school in middle school had like the happy crack wave. I don't know if you guys had that shit, but it was like these niggas was getting like sugar and like Kool-Aid and like putting in like this powder, and it was like some other shit. I don't know, but it was like niggas was just it was candy almost, like niggas was just eating it, and it was just like that. But like our school was going crazy for it. Our school was like niggas in our school was like our staff was heavy on that shit. Like they was mad about that shit. Like staff was like, you got suspended if you got caught with that shit at one point towards the end of like 8th grade.
No way. No way. They were really trying to like ground you over some
cake. But the thing is, the reason why is because I think it looks so much like actual like
drugs.
Coke. Sometimes you couldn't tell. Like there was actually niggas in classrooms like putting lines on the table and like snorting it up their nose on some crackhead shit. So like I kind of
that's extreme.
I kind of get it, but I swear I see niggas snorting that shit. Bro, I swear I see niggas snorting.
If you ever caught if you ever see anybody in your class take anything up the nose, don't be friends with them. That's all I'm saying. They're gonna like, why would you want to be friends with them? And they're willing to do that, and you're cool with it. You're weird, or just find yourself some better friends if you're not on that type of time.
Right. If you
that's a different type of friend.
Find some better friends.
That's a different friend. Cause comes down to it, life is kicking in the ass, and you remember that one good time he had in high school or whatever, and he gonna be like, I want to do something stronger because I did it before. Smoke weed.
Where the voting age is 16. I'm like, what the
fuck?
Niggas is
tripping. No,
when I was
what?
16, I was a chimp. You know, I mean, really, I was a chimp in a high school. Now, if many people's perceptions on marijuana is that it's based on ignorance, meaning no personal experience with it. You know, and
listen, I'll admit I have no personal experience with marijuana, so
I know you don't.
I'm not speaking.
You probably
from
should get high. That's what I'm trying to say.
I've seen the effects on
with that.
stock prices when people get high in the studio.
Oh, they jump up, man. They jump down for a little when a bunch of chickens jump off the boat, but then they come right back up.
Why you talking to the mic like that?
In my opinion,
I look at the camera a little weird.
Where people have this categorized box that they like to put marijuana users in. Like this is the category.
I wouldn't say that a majority of people that smoke completely become
clueless.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just,
at least with the people I've known like plenty of kids through school like fuck it. Like throughout my whole high school life, I'd probably say 25% of the kids I knew were coming into class high, and fucking nobody really knew. Sometimes they just walk out, but it was like they weren't rendered clueless. It wasn't like they didn't know what the fuck they was doing. They were still doing their work at sometimes, still being
Okay, yeah,
obedient.
I'm pretty sure I ran into kids who were like, I think a lot of them that were high were either chill or like really goofy,
Hype, right?
which is not necessarily a bad thing. And it was school, so it's like it wasn't like, oh my god, don't laugh, don't giggle. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Those were usually just two moods in general anyway in school. Like most people either were like leave me the fuck alone or they were extremely happy and ha 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 ha.
But you know what timing they were on if they was. Like you know not to approach her, but you know when to approach her. You feel
Right.
me? But it's just like and nobody at school who was high like, off of like no dumb stuff. Cause I knew people who were like I knew this one dude who was like going crazy with it. But like I was high at school one day and I couldn't like just stop laughing. So like I mean it affected my score on my test. Yes, because I couldn't think clearly. But I felt great. You know what I'm saying? Cause I feel like when I'm like thinking about I couldn't like really like you know what I'm saying? Like, that's like the only bad thing. But yet again I forgot I even had like a test that day. You feel me?
Right. But
It's
then
also about being it's also about
different.
being responsible too. You feel me?
Exactly. It's different for like, other people